Are you like me that gets so frustrated, irritated, sad by seeing all those bags of wrapping paper being thrown away every year, going to the dump? Why not make your own reusable bags? Today, we're going to make a smaller version of this, but it's done the same way. You can make any size bag using the same technique. Hello and welcome. I am Jackie with Jackie Russell Creates, where we talk about everything quilting and sewing. I give you tips, tricks, and techniques to conquer that next sewing and quilting projects. If you want to learn some more tips and tricks just like this to make these reusable bags, why not hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can be informed when I upload a new video. So let's get started making a reusable bag. So the bag I showed in the beginning of this video is 11 by 13 inch bag. This one that we're going to do today is 5 by 7.5. You can make this any size you want by increasing your fabric measurements. So for this one, you're going to need 2 pieces of fabric for your outside, that's 8.5 by 9.5. 2 pieces for your lining, that is 8.5 by 9.5. And then you're going to need 4 pieces of fusible webbing, that's 8.5 by 9.5. Need to fuse your fusible webbing to all 4 pieces of your fabric. I'm choosing to do the same fabric for the front and the back, or the lining and the outside. To know what size your fusible is, you'll have a rough side. That's the side you want to fuse down. The smooth side is the side that is facing outwards. Now you're going to take your lining fabric and you're going to sew them together, leaving the opening at the top. You're also going to do the same thing for your outer fabric. You're going to sew down a U shape per se and leave the top open. Some more items that you're going to need for this project is an eyelet kit, and you can get a kit that has a setter and a hole punch. I already have them, so I just bought the eyelets. You need a 5/16 eyelets. They come in silver, this black, and a bronze looking, so you can kind of match up to your fabric. And then you're going to need a hammer. And I have to have a piece of wood, but you'll need something that's pretty sturdy to be able to set the eyelets in. So let's go sew this now at 1/4 inch around the 2 sides and the bottom. Be sure to back stitch at the front and the back, or top and bottom, beginning and end. Depending on your fusible, I'm using medium weight. If you want to make sure that you're using a single side fusible and not the double side fusible webbing. And it will be more flimsy, or you can use a heavy weight and it's going to be more sturdier. Now that we have them sewn together, we're going to box the corners. And what I like to do is I put my finger in the corner and kind of pinch, and then I'm bringing it down and I'll rub it to make sure that the seam allowances are together. And for this bag, we're going to have it at the 1.5. The point's going to be at the 1.5, and you should have a 3-inch marking or across the bottom that you can be able to mark your line. If you have a 45 mark on your ruler, you can line that up with the edge, and then it will help be able to line up so you have your inch across the bottom, your 3 inches across the bottom, and then at your point at the 1.5. So you can just move it up and down till you get your 3 inch on this other side. Then I'm going to put a pin in there to hold it from moving while I take it to the sewing machine. And you're going to do that on all 4 corners. If you want to have a smaller box, then you just bring your line up here, and it will be, make your bag smaller, the box part smaller, as the 3 inch that's going to have us, so we can be able to put like a good 3 inch box or something in here. So let's go sew these corners, and then you're going to cut them. Put your 1/4 inch on your stitch line, and then you're gonna, so you have your 1/4 inch seam allowance. Be sure to back stitch at the beginning and the end on each corner. If you choose to do a different than the 3 inch, make sure that you do that same on all 4 corners. Now we're going to cut the corners off. Now we're going to turn the outside fabric the right way, and you're going to slide that down into your lining fabric, and you want to match up your side seams. You're going to go stitch around it, and you're going to leave a little opening to be able to turn it. And now we're going to stitch around. Now that we have it sewn, we're going to turn it the right way. And I like to, pull and push. And then this is why you back stitch at the beginning and end, so you don't rip those stitchings out. Now you're going to tuck the lining into the inside of your bag. And at this point is where you want to line up those corners of your box. Then you're going to take this to the ironing board and press so you can be able to come back and do a top stitch to close your opening and to flatten out the box. Now here is our box, our bag, our reusable bag. And what you're going to want to do is, at the ironing board, you're going to want to take your corner of your bag and kind of press it down on all 4 corners to help give your bag its box type look or feel. Plus, it will help with your the next step. So what we're going to do is we're going to add our eyelets. So I need my piece of wood, because you need a hard surface to be able to hammer these down. And from that corner seam, or corner where you would have pressed it down, you're going to measure 1.25 inch from that and 7/8 of an inch down. So I have my ruler lined up against this crease, and I'm just going over and putting a little mark. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Again, turn it so I can see a little better. I'm going to put my 1.25 on that line and my 7/8, and then I'm going to draw a little mark right there. I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the back side. This is why I say you want to press it, or pressing it will really help. So you know exactly where that crease is. Learn from my mistake. I made a mistake on the other bag. Now that we have all our markings, you would use your eyelet tool. Okay, so my battery died as I was explaining to you how to do eyelets. So I made another bag, and now we're going to put the eyelets on. So once you have it marked, you can use your tool that comes in your kit, or I just like to poke my snippets down in there and then make a little hole. Let me get my board for my hard surface and pull out our eyelets. So the eyelets come in two pieces. You have a top and the bottom. You want the one with the smaller ring here to go on the outside of your bag. So I just push it through the hole that I made. If I have to make a little bigger hole, I do. And you push your fabric around that part of metal that's sticking up. And then I like to lay it down on the round circle piece that came with your kit. And then you lay the bottom on top. And then you're going to use that tool. You're going to use the other tool that came in your kit, and it's the setting tool. You're going to put it in the center, and you're just going to give it a couple whacks. And good whacks. You want it to press out those pieces so they stay together. And then you're just going to continue that throughout the rest of the holes. And there are the two eyelets, and then I like to check to make sure that they don't come off or don't come apart. So you want to make sure that you have a hard surface when you're hammering them in. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the corners that we pressed that are even with the corners at the bottom of the box here, and you're just going to do a top stitch about 2.5 inches down. So what I'm going to do is take my ruler, and because this is dark fabric, I'm just going to put a pin in there so I know where to stop. So this is kind of what it will look like. And you're just making it so it's kind of like a gift bag. Then you're going to take a piece of ribbon. You're going to go through the front, through the back, around the side, back through the front, the same hole, through the back, across the back to the other side, through the back hole, through the front hole, around the side, through the back hole, through that front hole, pull them tight, and then tie a bow. And there is your gift bag that you can use over and over again. So I hope you enjoyed on how to make these reusable gift bags. If you would like a pattern for this, a written pattern, leave a comment in the description below, and I'll be glad to write one up for you. I think these would be great for Christmas gifts, for birthday gifts, or any other type of gifts that you may want to give, and then they can reuse them. So until then, happy quilting, my friends.